Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says it's time to make things right with President Trump after their clash at the White House on Friday. He said he would work under what he called the president's strong leadership.
We're diving deep into the fascinating and sometimes controversial relationship between two of the most talked about leaders of the 21st century, former U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. From political battles to international diplomacy, their dynamic has captured the world's attention. In this video, we'll explore 10 intriguing facts about their relationship and how it shaped the course of global politics. Let's get started. 1. The first meeting at the UN General Assembly in 2019. In September 2019, the global stage of the United Nations General Assembly in New York saw the first face-to-face meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukraine's newly elected President Volodymyr Zelensky. This moment marked a pivotal chapter in Ukraine's post-Soviet journey and its evolving relationship with the U.S. Zelensky, a former comedian who had ridden a wave of popular support to victory on promises of reform and fresh leadership, was still in the early days of his presidency. His political mandate was clear: tackle corruption, modernize the economy, and realign Ukraine's foreign policy with Europe and the West. On the surface, the initial interaction between Trump and Zelensky seemed cordial, with Trump praising Zelensky as a very strong, very tough guy. The leaders appeared to get along well, with Trump expressing admiration for Zelensky's outsider status and reformist rhetoric. However, the seemingly warm exchange at the UN meeting would soon become overshadowed by a series of political developments that would place both leaders under intense scrutiny on the world stage. While the meeting itself was not extraordinary, it foreshadowed a much deeper and more contentious relationship between the two leaders, one that would become embroiled in a major political scandal that would reverberate through both American and Ukrainian politics for years to come. 2. The Trump-Ukraine scandal, 2019. The pivotal moment that forever altered the trajectory of the Trump-Zelensky relationship occurred just a few months after their initial meeting, in July 2019, when President Trump made a phone call to President Zelensky. In what would come to be known as the Trump-Ukraine scandal, Trump allegedly pressured Zelensky to investigate Joe Biden, who was then a leading contender for the 2020 U.S. presidential election, and his son Hunter Biden's business dealings in Ukraine. During the phone call, Trump is said to have linked U.S. military aid to Ukraine to the launch of such an investigation, an action that many viewed as an attempt to influence the U.S. election in his favor. The call quickly became the focus of a formal impeachment inquiry in the U.S. House of Representatives, where Trump was accused of abusing his presidential powers to solicit foreign interference in a U.S. election. The fallout from the scandal not only dominated headlines but also sent shockwaves through U.S. foreign policy. The impeachment inquiry, which led to Trump's eventual impeachment by the House, though he was acquitted by the Senate, brought Ukraine's name to the forefront of global political discourse. While Trump insisted the call was perfect and denied any wrongdoing, the incident left a lasting mark on the international diplomatic landscape, revealing the complex interplay between personal politics, international relations, and American foreign policy. 3. Zelensky's response to the impeachment. As the impeachment process unfolded, President Zelensky found himself caught in the crossfire of a political storm. While the phone call with Trump had thrust him into the center of a diplomatic controversy, Zelensky's response to the situation revealed a great deal about his character and political strategy. Zelensky, ever the pragmatic leader, consistently stated that he did not feel pressured by Trump to pursue an investigation into the Bidens, despite growing allegations to the contrary. He emphasized that Ukraine's sovereignty and integrity would not be compromised by external pressure. Throughout the impeachment proceedings, Zelensky remained notably diplomatic, avoiding direct involvement in the political battle unfolding in the U.S. Instead, he focused on Ukraine's broader interests, maintaining crucial U.S. military aid, securing international support, and avoiding becoming a pawn in the larger geopolitical struggle. Zelensky's careful balancing act earned him both praise and criticism. Some saw his restraint as a sign of political maturity and wisdom, while others viewed it as a missed opportunity to assert Ukraine's independence more forcefully. Regardless of the mixed reactions, Zelensky's handling of the situation helped solidify his image as a shrewd and pragmatic leader, capable of navigating the murky waters of international diplomacy. Number 4, U.S. military aid to Ukraine during Trump's presidency. Despite the impeachment scandal, Trump did continue to provide military aid to Ukraine. In 2017, the U.S. began sending defensive weapons to Ukraine, including Javelin anti-tank missiles, to help fight Russian-backed separatists in the Donbas region. However, Trump's administration did withhold aid temporarily in 2019, which became a point of contention during the impeachment proceedings. While Trump's stance on Ukraine was often unpredictable, his administration did play a crucial role in bolstering Ukraine's defense capabilities during the early years of the ongoing conflict with Russia. Number 5, Zelensky's shifting views on Trump. As we know, relationships evolve. Zelensky, a political newcomer, initially viewed Trump as a powerful ally. However, as the years went by and tensions increased between the U.S. and Russia, Zelensky had to balance his country's interests, making his relationship with Trump more complex. By the end of Trump's term, Zelensky was more focused on securing NATO support and European Union integration for Ukraine, which sometimes placed him at odds with Trump's America First policies. Zelensky's pragmatism meant he was willing to work with whoever would best serve Ukraine's interests, regardless of Trump's personal political battles. 6. Trump's support for Zelensky's reform agenda. One of the key areas where Trump and Zelensky saw eye to eye was on Ukraine's need for reform. Zelensky ran on a platform of rooting out corruption and modernizing Ukraine's economy. Trump, whose political brand was built on anti-corruption rhetoric, publicly expressed support for Zelensky's efforts to tackle corruption, even though the U.S. was not always seen as fully backing Zelensky's reform measures with substantial action. Both men saw corruption as a major challenge, and Trump's tough talk on holding foreign governments accountable seemed to resonate with Zelensky. But it's also important to note that Trump's actions didn't always match his words, as evidenced by the aid freeze during the 2019 scandal. 7. The perfect phone call defense. After the impeachment hearings began, Trump and his allies often referred to the phone call with Zelensky as a perfect call. Trump vehemently denied any wrongdoing, claiming that there was no quid pro quo, meaning no offer of military aid in exchange for political favors. This became a rallying cry for his supporters, while his detractors viewed it as a clear case of overreach. The rhetoric around the phone call highlighted the polarizing nature of U.S. politics and how a single conversation could be interpreted in so many different ways depending on your viewpoint. 8. Trump's criticism of Zelensky post-impeachment. Following the impeachment trial, Trump didn't shy away from criticizing Zelensky on occasion. While the two had shared moments of warmth, Trump's comments about Ukraine became more pointed as the 2020 presidential election neared. He often referred to Zelensky as someone who was too soft on Russia, even as he continued to support Ukraine's sovereignty and principle. This friction only deepened as Trump's term came to a close, as the global political landscape shifted and Ukraine faced increasing threats from Russian aggression. 9. The 2022 Russian invasion and Zelensky's global leadership. Fast forward to 2022, and the world saw a dramatically different dynamic. Russia's invasion of Ukraine catapulted Zelensky into the global spotlight. While Trump was no longer president, his comments about Ukraine's future would be scrutinized as the war raged on. Zelensky became a symbol of resistance and resilience, drawing praise for his leadership, while Trump remained a vocal critic of U.S. foreign policy under President Biden. Zelensky's ability to unite the world against Russian aggression stood in stark contrast to Trump's America First approach, which focused more on minimizing U.S. involvement in foreign conflicts. 10. The legacy of their relationship. So what's the takeaway from the relationship between Trump and Zelensky? It's clear that their interactions were complex, shaped by political agendas, international diplomacy, and the shifting tides of global power. Whether it was Trump's controversial policies or Zelensky's rise to fame as a wartime leader, their shared history reflects a broader struggle between nationalism and international cooperation. Their relationship wasn't just about two men, it was about two countries navigating a volatile and often unpredictable global landscape. As Zelensky continues to fight for Ukraine's future, and Trump keeps a strong foothold in U.S. politics, one thing is for sure: the story of their interactions is far from over. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more updates on global politics. Leave your thoughts on Trump and Zelensky in the comments below. What do you think about their relationship? See you next time.